All right, guys, Somewhere Piso back once again with yet another video. Today I'm going to have my commentary on a comment on one of my videos. In fact, two comments on one of my videos. It's basically about it's just the harsh reality of semen retention. Ultimately, a lot of us get into the practice. A lot of the neophytes that are hearing about semen retention are a little bit disgusted with their lives. They don't want to go down this distraught path of, you know, smoking, drinking, doing drugs, having sex, and just taking part in this energy harvesting ritual, which is just the everyday experience, living in this life, honestly. And so they seek a higher path, and then they begin, the neophytes, they enjoy the energy that comes about it, because you get that after a week, you get that boost of testosterone. Your memory is stellar. You have more energy. It seems like you're getting much more female attraction, and then you have this strange idea, which is, instead of just being on semen retention for a little bit of time, I'm going to stay on the practice for months on end. And then the reality of the practice sets in. You start to intuitively understand a lot of the journeys of the old. Nikola Tesla, Isaac Newton, William Tinsdale, Napoleon Hill, Leonardo da Vinci. You understand exactly what these guys sort of went through. There's this hate that you get from society, and you don't understand why. You have no idea why. There's just so much animosity, so much disgust. They marginalize you. There's a lot of these behavioral cues that are very, very aggressive and intimidating in nature, and you just really don't understand where that's coming from. You still have the energy, but it's just, you're not getting that positive feedback loop from society. Even though they have 10 fingers just like you, they have a limbic system just like you just sort of go on a completely different path. So I'm going to read out these comments that came from this guy, that Chill Pete 123, just because I need to touch up on it. I responded to his comment the moment that he posted it, because this is a harsh reality of semen retention, and I understand exactly where he's going through. So I'm going to talk about this, what he said, and then hopefully it could sort of elucidate a lot of solutions that you guys can take on your personal practices of semen retention, assuming that you're getting this far. 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, right? Like, comment, subscribe. Let's do it, right? So this comment, we're gonna start it off. He said, this path is getting super hard. It just, I can't even, this thing just made me really sad, because, like, reading it. But let's just continue. Let's just, you know, get some feedback. I wanna get it out into the world, what he said. This path is getting super hard, training like a madman to express this energy. I'm 142 days in, and what is that? That is about 4 months. That's about 4 months. 4 months and change. He's on the precipice of the 4th month. He's about to go into the 5th month. I'm 142 days in, and I just don't fit in anywhere and with any people. It's frustrating and isolating, but more than that, it's causing me to have a chip on my shoulder and resentment to these people. I feel the power on the inside, but I don't want it. I want it on the outside / physically as well. I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's a path that I'm completely alone on, and I don't know where it leads to. Okay, so I understand exactly what you're going through, Chill Pete. I gave you two comments, two long in-depth comments, because I understand this point of the practice as well. For the people that don't understand what Chill Pete is saying and probably think that he's going off the rails, this is the natural route of semen retention. You will have, in the beginning, as I said in the beginning of this video, in the beginning of your practices, you're going to have positive feedback loop from the world. People are going to enjoy you. You get invited to the parties. Your family's going to enjoy having you around. Your friends are going to want you to cook for them and hang out with them and all this kind of stuff, because you have more energy. You just seem much more full of life. Let's not get those two confused. Life refers to the physical basis vitality, right? Physical vitality. Light comes with all of that, in addition to much more added. You're a beacon almost that's shining through bits of darkness, people of darkness, acts, environments that are all of a low vibration, low nature, and just seeking to satisfy the sacral chakra level urges and desires. This guy is saying that when you go as far as he has, 4 months, 142 days, you are going to start to get this intimidation from the people around you. People are going to hate you of all sizes, both genders, all races, all religions, all creeds, and you don't understand where this hate is coming from. I'm gonna talk about my personal experience too. Like, again, this is August. I'm currently 8 months in the practice. I have not gone left. We don't look at adult film content. I have to tell you, for the newcomers on the channel, I have to let you guys know what 8 months purely means. We're not sleeping with anyone. We're not releasing energy. We're not looking at adult film content. We're not calling up women of the night. We're not looking at lewd material on my Instagram news feed. I do not have any lewd content creators that are only interested in attention to try to get more money, nothing else. I'm not into any of that. I've been abstaining from everything. I don't have any friends. I don't speak to family. It is really just me going to work, both my lines of work, being creative, and then coming back home, going to go exercise, going to go boxing, cook, and I just go back home. That's really it. I don't do anything else in life. Yesterday at work, and it's been happening a lot at work, we have a general manager. She's from Georgia. I was at the restaurant, and the way that she acts towards me is just so strange. Like, I would ask her questions, she would outright ignore me, but then she would like speak to other people, even though like I'm probably the best wine seller and salesman in the blasted Georgia restaurant. And that stuff doesn't matter. I really have passed a point years ago where I'm trying to fish for people's attention or acknowledgement or admiration. That doesn't matter to me anymore. You're going to get to that point too when you are actively on this practice. This is why I urge you guys to stay on semen retention, and you have to make sure and speak to yourself, journal all the time, and you're trying to ultimately elucidate what you're feeling inside. You're writing it down so it becomes concrete, so you could be able to reference it at a future point or later point, so you could understand what you're feeling and try to make predictions, make tactical observations of what your behavior is like. This practice is not for the weak. It's the ultimate practice of dissociation and separation from the people of the world. All of the traditions that you've grown up with in your family, where you have to be married by a certain age, or you have to drink alcohol, or you have to smoke cigarettes because we do it, and you have to get this line of work, and you matter insofar as the work that you produce, you are going to get far on semen retention. You're going to start to get into the Bible or religious texts, because when you are following that practice, when you're following it straight and narrow, that's a natural inclination that's going to pop up in your mind and your soul. You're going to want to chase after the Bible. You're going to start to read the Bible. You're going to understand a lot of what these guys went through. Perhaps you're not going to necessarily go to the Bible. You go to other texts, the Bhagavad Gita, the Pali Canon, the Tripitaka, and then you'll read and you'll understand a lot about these avatars, these heroes that have went through similar journeys. And you're going to start making personal decisions and make comparisons. This hate that you get when you start building up that energy, true light. A lot of what is being said on the internet, especially with a lot of people, people done this good act and it's marketed so well, so they're good people, and a lot of people, the collective concentrates or focuses their attention on them, and then they're somehow like a good person, when in reality, that's all a manufactured scheme. Ultimately, we have no idea about the trials that they faced, any tribulations that they faced. Were they tried by fire? Did they receive hate from the world and still decided to retain their good nature or semblances of it, and continue down with hope, belief in God, hope that things will get better, hoping that things will improve? We have no idea of their backgrounds. We have no idea. We just have this whole marketing machine that has pumped up this individual out of obscurity to some degree. You need to, I hope I'm not getting too sidetracked, but I want to get back honestly on the trajectory of the video. Ultimately, Chill Pete is talking about the inevitability of semen retention. There's going to be a hate. Your family will start to dislike you. Your friends are going to not like you anymore. They're not going to invite you anywhere. There's going to be like this, what is that? Passive-aggressive behavior. I haven't heard this term in a really long time. I know it's traded amongst a lot of the friend groups of the people of the world. I don't have any friends, so I haven't heard that in a very long time, so I haven't really had to use that that phrase. But that's a thing. They're going to start being nice and then kind. They forget everything that you've done for them the day prior, and then they're going to act completely different the day following. It's just an annoying thing. And having resentment, as what Chill Pete is saying that he's starting to feel within his heart, is something that we have to get rid of. And I always talk about it in all my videos. You need to walk with peace. We're not trying to be vengeful to the people of the world. We have to understand, let's make a reference to when the beginning of the Gospels of the New Testament, when Jesus was getting crucified, when the Roman soldiers were hammering the stakes into his hands, he said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." As he was getting his palms hammered into. As they were nailing him onto the cross, he's the ultimate pain. He wished for their salvation. He forgave them. We're not suffering nearly as much. At the end of the day, as it was said in Ephesians by the learned Paul, we face not against flesh and blood, not anymore, right? We're facing against wickedness, spiritual, dark powers in high places. We fight against principalities, secret societies, people that understand exactly what the Bible is saying, the esoteric nature behind the Bible, the esoteric nature behind the Bhagavad Gita, what the Kalki means when it comes to the Trimurti in Hinduism. They understand all of it, and they manipulate these bits of information for personal gain, for dominion and intimidation and control and subjugation of light, true light. And being someone that finally is getting into this light because you're staying long on semen retention, you're staying away from the things of the world that are trying to pull you down and remove that light from you, because ultimately we know everything that exists in this world, right, especially in cities, are just of an energy harvesting nature. People are dark. Individuals dabble into witchcraft, and they have no idea about the long-term implications of their actions on their bloodline, the world at large, everything. And so you have to learn how to navigate that. That is your duty as an individual man that's rising up in these types of environments on semen retention. You have to have not only sexual discipline and willpower, you have to have ecclesiastic defense. And this is all through worship of faith in a higher power, not giving up blood, not chasing children, right, to take adrenochrome, not taking drugs, not feeling elated, not doing invocations to dark forces that you have no idea the long-term implication of penalties that does. It's having faith, understanding that there's a high period, there's a low period. You're going to be isolated. You're going to be stuck in darkness. People are just not going to like you for no reason. You may have graduated summa cum laude in your colleges. You may have been the valedictorian in your colleges, maybe in your high schools. You were the talk of the town. But the moment you truly pick up God, right? The moment you truly get into semen retention, the moment you decide to extend it past a month, to 2 months, to 3 months, you are going to be hated by the world. Nothing of your past will exist anymore. You have to stay focused. There's another comment that I want to read. I elaborated on Chill Pete's comment for a little too long, but there's another comment that he made, right? And this one was the really, really sad one. This is the one that affected me a lot. I read it during my restaurant shift, and it was just kind of hard to focus because I felt his pain ultimately. I'm gonna read this to you guys. This is the second comment from Chill Pete. He said, "This practice had made me truly realize and actualize the fact that this realm/world sucks, and to be a part of it is to be engaging in degeneracy/low vibe activities. As soon as you disengage from that, you are isolated from society, marginalized from the public and community, their communities. Let's keep going. But you still have to be here. I understand this completely." And he says, like, there is no escape. You just have to brace yourself as time goes on. And once you realize this, there is no going back and burying your head in the sand. I hope to God after this life, I never come back here. And I felt incredibly, I felt very, very depressed, reading this, because this is what a lot of semen retention content creators are not really talking about. You get to a point, right? You get to a point where on the practice, and it's inevitable if you're doing the practice correctly, you get to a point where there's this dissociation. Clearly this guy is reading the Bible because he's saying there's no escape. Normally there's been I want to include this as well, a lot of men recently in the last 5 years have been offing themselves at exponential rates. It's actually kind of insane, and it's very sad to me too, because life is nice to some degree. We have seasons and whatnot. There's a time for snow, time for sun, a time for rain. And there's, restaurants are great. People, devote the little bits of creative energy that they have to create these wonderful menus for us so we can try their food. They're beautiful countries with different ways of life, with people that have, believe in this thing and don't believe in that thing and all this kind of stuff. Life is, for the most part, is beautiful. It's ultimately an emanation of God, right? It is God's creation. And for people to feel like they are hopeless in the midst of this entire existence and decide to remove themselves from it is incredibly disheartening. It's so sad. And hearing Chill Pete say that there is no escape, it gives me a little bit of hope that he's not thinking about that route, because he understands, he understands the Bible. You're not supposed to remove yourself from God's will. To be honest, he also talks about not burying your head in the sand once you get into this bit of information. You get into semen retention, and you understand that it's ultimate information. It's meant to help you ascend. You have been chosen when you have learned about semen retention and decide to actively apply it to your life, and there's no turning back. You could choose to do so, but your life will never be the same. You automatically unlocked that little gift. You understood the power of celibacy. You cannot go back to the way that the heathen live. You cannot go back to the way that individuals interact with each other, the drinking, the smoking. That you'll get to that point. That's not necessarily an automatic thing that happens, that comes about through the practice of semen retention, but you will get to that point. You do semen retention correctly, and you're going to seek to make yourself clean. This is what happened to me. I don't want to be involved in environments where people are just drinking alcohol, they're yelling at each other, they're speaking about degenerate things. Their phones are just full of texts from people that they're duping, who are also duping the person that's receiving the text. They're interested only in material gain, only to exalt themselves above each other. They keep up with the Joneses to try to exalt themselves above each other. They get into lines of work not to generally help the public through the service and the goods that corporation is selling or purveying. They use it as a badge of honor to then exalt themselves above all others. They don't care about God. They don't care about God's precepts. They don't care about the apostles. They don't care about semen retention. None of it. Nothing about discipline they care about. This is the world at large. It goes to the old woman that lives on Fifth Avenue with a myriad chains, Tiffany and Co., Van Cleef and Arpels, with a dog that they dress up, to the hipster that lives in Bushwick, whose only language is fornication and drinking alcohol and smoking weed. That's it. To the degenerate minority who only cares about smoking weed to feel elated in order to then get into another line of action, to then fall into more degeneracy. That's really the world at large. There is no escape. There is no turning away from this. Chill, I want to talk to you honestly, and this is also talking to you guys. I'm gonna answer ultimately what he's feeling with this comment that was said in the Bible. What was said in the Bible ultimately. Do not be dismayed. You may see in the stars signs that something might come. You are in a place of work. Everyone's leaving. If you have not received that call to leave yet from God, do not leave. You don't fall with people. You don't follow people. You follow God ultimately. Do not feel crestfallen. Do not have your countenance lowered or blotted out just because there is no hope. You're isolated. You wake up and your phone is dry. No one wants to talk to you. You are ignored in the street, or people pretend that you're not there, and then they bump into you randomly, and then you try to talk to them and they ignore you still. You're trying to defend your point of view. Your space, your personal space has been invaded, and you want to comment on it, and people ignore you and marginalize you. This is the world at large. When you get to this far point of semen retention, you must also believe deeply in God and pray for the people that do damage against you. It is fine. It is all temporary. Again, this is not the Middle Ages where they're coming after you with sword and shield. They are coming after you trying to disarm you with spiritual knowledge. They come in the name of Aleister Crowley, all of these Freemasons, all of these secret society, 13 worshipers, 12 worshipers, blood drinkers, child adrenochrome harvesters. That's who they come in the name of, and they're trying to intimidate you with dark magic. You follow God. You follow the will of God. You do not listen to the advice of anyone. For Chill Pete, I want to tell you directly, and for the rest of you guys as well, you need to journal every single thing that you're feeling. Write everything down. Don't tell anyone about your dreams, because they are emanations of the world. If they have not been tried, if they don't read the Bible, if you mention Jesus Christ or you mention anything spiritual or anything that's ecclesiastic, and they are silent towards you, yes, they are part of the secret society. They have made covenants, and they are not ultimately they are not your ally. They are not on your team, and you need to keep that stuff to yourself. Your dreams are for your interpretation and your interpretation only. You keep that stuff to yourself. When you're feeling down, go to the gym. Go outside, breathe in fresh air, get into calisthenics, do some push-ups, pull-ups, dips, sit down near water, breathe, again, right. Go to the gym, get some boost of endorphins. Do not try to find anything external, drugs, cigarettes, weed, alcohol. Do not take any of these things to try to escape what you're feeling, what's happening to you, because it's a temporary dissociation with reality, with your reality. And eventually, after these effects of the aforementioned things run dry, you're going to have to be confronted with life again. And then you're constantly enervating and destroying the body to escape the inevitable. You have taken on the mantle of semen retention. You have taken the buckler of God and his precepts, and you must walk with everything that comes with it. Do not be dismayed. Do not be afraid of the things of this world. They are only trying to intimidate you with dark magic, and we already know that what happens to them. Do not be taken on to any secret society. There's nothing that these guys could give you besides a false network and probably a little bit more money, right? Which, okay, maybe your financial situation requires it, but not requires it, but would like it. That's not what you require. You will gain these things through practice, through toiling, through tribulation, through trial. Do not fall into their ways, gentlemen. Chill Pete, I am here for you. Please, like I said, anyone, email the channel, email somberdelpiso@gmail.com. I will try my best to comment to you. I've already received a lot of emails from a lot of people on the channel talking to me about their semen retention journeys, and I'm giving them my advice on how to navigate this inevitability of hate from the world, from all races, all creeds, all religions, everything. So guys, let's stay with it, right? So with that being said, that's the end of this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed that kind of content. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, share the video with some peers. Do not ever let this place get you down. I'm telling you, these guys are ultimately emanations of a dark force that has existed before your forefathers' time. They've existed in contrast to God. They want to take out anything light. They want to keep dominion over the world because this is the only thing they know how to do. They want to poison, they come to destroy, they come to split asunder, they come to rip apart. That's it. They come to manipulate. That's not who you are anymore. You have done semen retention for 3, 4, 5 months. You have gone through the second birth. You're following the ways of God, Jesus Christ. You're reading their precepts. You're following it and applying it towards your life. That old life is not yours anymore. You are not taken onto secret societies. You don't wear beads. You don't tattoo your skin. You don't wear all these things to falsely augment your energy, to pretend that you're somewhere where you're not. You don't do that. You stay clear, you drink your water, you drink the goat's milk, you don't eat the pig, you don't eat anything heathen-like, you don't eat anything that crawls on the ground that eats it up himself. You just stay on the focus, you stay on the practice. I love you all, guys. Stay radiant. I'm going to see you guys in the